I refused to take my kids' calls after finding out my wife committed paternity fraud. My wife came home from work on a Tuesday looking weird. She had this nervous smile plastered on her face and kept fiddling with her car keys. She sat down at the kitchen table and said, "We needed to talk about something important." I thought maybe she got fired or crashed the car or something. Instead, she told me our oldest son needed to get his tonsils out. The doctor wanted to run some routine blood work before surgery. That's when she started crying. She told me the blood types didn't match up right. The doctor pulled her aside after and suggested we might want to do a paternity test. She swore up and down it was probably just a lab error. I didn't sleep that night, just stared at the ceiling while she snored next to me. The next morning, I drove to the pharmacy and bought 3 DNA test kits, one for each kid. I told them it was for a fun ancestry project we were doing as a family. Our daughter thought it was cool. Our middle son didn't care. Our oldest asked why mom looked so scared when I brought it out. 2 weeks later, the results came back. I opened them in my car during lunch break at work. None of them were mine, not a single one. 13 years of raising 3 kids and not one of them had my DNA. I sat there in the parking lot for 2 hours just holding the papers. My coworker knocked on my window asking if I was okay. I told him I was fine and drove home. When I walked in the house, my wife was making spaghetti. The kids were doing homework at the table. Everything looked so normal. I put the papers on the counter next to the stove and didn't say anything. She glanced over and her face went completely white. She dropped the wooden spoon into the sauce. I walked upstairs and started packing a bag. She followed me begging and crying, saying she could explain everything. I told her I was staying at my brother's place and we would talk about this with lawyers. The kids kept calling my phone that night. I watched it ring 7 times. My daughter left a voicemail asking why I left so fast and if I was mad at her. My middle son texted asking if mom did something wrong. My oldest called 3 times in a row. I didn't pick up any of them. My brother asked why I wasn't answering. I showed him the DNA results. He just sat there for a minute, then said, "Holy shit." I drank half a bottle of whiskey that night and passed out on his couch. The calls kept coming for days. My daughter called every morning before school. My middle son would call during lunch. My oldest called me after basketball practice like he always used to. 17 missed calls in 3 days. My wife sent me long texts saying the kids were confused and scared and needed to talk to me. She said I was punishing them for her mistakes. I texted back saying I needed time. She replied asking how much time. I didn't answer that. My brother's girlfriend tried talking to me about it. She said the kids didn't do anything wrong and they must be terrified. I told her I knew that, but I couldn't look at them right now without feeling sick. Every memory felt like a lie. Every birthday party and school play and bedtime story. I taught my oldest how to ride a bike when he was 6. I stayed up all night with my daughter when she had the flu. I coached my middle son's soccer team for 3 seasons, and none of them were actually mine. Week 2, my wife showed up at my brother's apartment. She banged on the door until I opened it. She looked terrible. Hair messy and eyes red. She said the kids were crying themselves to sleep asking where daddy went. She said our daughter refused to eat breakfast for 4 days. She said our oldest got into a fight at school because some kid made a joke about me leaving. She was screaming at me in the hallway saying I abandoned them. I told her she abandoned our marriage 13 years ago when she got pregnant with someone else's kid and lied about it. Then I shut the door. My phone rang again that night. It was my oldest. I stared at his name on the screen for 30 seconds. My thumb hovered over the answer button. Then I declined the call and turned my phone off completely. My brother said I should at least tell them I'm okay. I said they have their mom to tell them whatever she wants. The lawyer I hired said I could file for divorce based on fraud. He said in our state I might not have to pay child support since none of them were biologically mine. My wife's lawyer sent papers saying she wanted full custody and alimony and child support for all 3 kids. She claimed I was the only father they ever knew, and walking away now would traumatize them. Her lawyer called me a deadbeat. My lawyer called her a liar and a cheater. 3 weeks after I left, my daughter's number popped up on my phone again. 32 missed calls from her at that point. I blocked all 3 of their numbers.